bei uns in Europa angekommen sind,
Watch now on
dann finde
iPlayer.
ich, haben sie ein Recht darauf, menschlich behandelt zu werden.
When the big names talk, they talk to us.
I'm Sumi Somaskanda in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. After tensions flare between Israel and Syria, the U.S. says each side has agreed to steps to bring the violence to an end. With pressure mounting to release information about the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, President Trump downplays the case.
Certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook. And no different than Russia, and all the other hoaxes.
And we'll get an exclusive look into the U.S. Space Force, which is working to create a so-called Golden Dome. Welcome to World News America. Thank you for joining us. Syrian troops are withdrawing from the southern city of Suwaida, the site of clashes between government forces and the Druze minority. Syria's state news agency says the military is now indeed leaving the city. Now, President Trump says he is not planning to fire the chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve. There were earlier reports that he asked congressional Republicans on Tuesday night if he should fire Jerome Powell. The newest service in the U.S. military, the Space Force, has had some notable victories of late. It played a crucial role in intercepting Iranian ballistic missiles targeting an American military base in Qatar. It also helped the U.S. carry out strikes on Iran's nuclear program. Now, the Space Force is working to create an American missile defense shield, which Donald Trump calls the Golden Dome. Jonathan Beale has this exclusive report. That's our program at this hour. But as always, you can head to our website, bbc.com/news for the very latest. You can see the images we have there of those Israeli strikes on Damascus. We know that there were Israeli strikes on Suwaida in southern Syria, as well as that flare-up of violence between the two countries did happen. We also know that the U.S. Secretary of State, of course, has said that he has been working with all sides of the conflict here to make sure that tensions are lowered and that the fighting ends. So we'll continue to keep our eye on that story, both on our website and right here on BBC News. For all of us here in Washington, I'm Sumi Somaskanda. Thank you for watching World News America.
Hello, Thomas Shapanaka with your latest
It's been a fine
weather
day
update.
of weather across
Let's take a look at the forecast for Europe.
Polish. bbc.com/polska. Available now.
Now on BBC News, comprehensive coverage of the day's important national and international news stories. Newsnight.
Two weeks ago, the Prime Minister said he was listening to his own MPs over the rebellion on welfare cuts. Now he's suspended 4 of them. Will it maintain party discipline? And what does it tell us about Keir Starmer? Plus, she was the star of GMTV. Age 61, Fiona Phillips was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. She's written a new book, which her husband has contributed to. He's angry that dementia research gets a fraction of the funding cancer research does. Good evening, welcome to Newsnight, broadcasting around the UK and also right around the world, bringing you insight and interviews. Your panellists this evening, Labour MP Jake Richards, the woman who was Director of Policy for Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg, Polly Mackenzie, and Times columnist and Conservative peer Lord Finkelstein. The latter two know each other well, actually, because they work on a podcast together, like everyone does these days. Theirs is called How to Win an Election. Let's begin tonight with the four MPs who've had the Labour whip removed. The Times quoted a senior source in government who said the MPs had been suspended for persistent knobheadery. Nick, what have you been hearing?
Well, it was put...
I'm just going to, if I can get the papers up, I can. I don't know what order they're in, but anyway. Thanks. The Daily Mail, thanks for saving us. Now we'll sue you. That's obviously the Afghan data breach. And then The Sun talks about the Afghan £1 billion blunder compo. That's it from us. We're back tomorrow. See you then.
I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. After tensions flare between Israel and Syria, the US says each side has agreed to steps to bring the violence to an end. In Gaza, at least 20 people have been killed at an aid distribution site run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. In the UK, scientists say they've reached a major medical breakthrough after 8 babies are born through a 3-person DNA technique. We'll have more on that story. Hello, you're welcome to World News America. Syrian troops have begun to withdraw from the city of Suwaida after days of violence between Druze fighters, Sunni Bedouin tribal fighters, and government forces. Syria's state news agency says the military is leaving as part of an agreement between the government and Suwaida's religious leaders. It comes after Israeli airstrikes hit the Syrian Defense Ministry and an area near the presidential palace in Damascus. Okay, Ibrahim Al-Asil, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council, thank you for joining us here on BBC News.
Thank you.
Now, we will be talking about the issues in the wider region and indeed the situation in Gaza, with 20 more people killed at a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid site. So all of that still to come. Do stay with us here. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.
The space shuttle was designed to change spaceflight.
Here on BBC News.
You're live with BBC News. For the first time, the US and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has admitted to deaths at one of its aid distribution sites. James Gallagher reporting there. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more still to come, so do stay with us here on BBC News for the next part of World News America.
Hello, Thomas for joining me with your latest weather update. It's been a fine day of weather across most of
the on Verified Live for BBC News.
You're welcome back to World News America. Well, President Trump has denied that he is about to fire the chairman of the US Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. This comes despite reports that the president waved a draft letter to fire Powell during a closed-door meeting with Republicans on Tuesday night, which sent bank shares sliding. We're out of time. We could talk many longer about this, but that's it for today. We'll have you both back again in the future. Yemisi Egbewale and Jennifer Carroll, thank you both for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, lots more still to come. Do stay with us. Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.
Resilience is the key word when pursuing
across the BBC. Watch on iPlayer.
BBC News. Now, the number of measles cases in the US continues to climb amid concern that the country is in danger of losing its elimination status for this highly infectious disease. This month, the number of reported measles cases in the US. Now, you can see more about that on our website, as well as all of the day's news. You'll find that at bbc.com/news, and of course on our app as well. That's it for the moment. I'll be back shortly with more. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for watching, and do stay with us here on BBC News. Take care.
Hello, thanks for joining me. It's been a fine day of weather across most of the UK with
Hello, thanks for joining me.
Let's take a look at the weather around the globe, and starting with North America.